Hello and welcome to the FM21 A-League Rundown in partnership with A-League FC. Each week here on a Sunday, we look back at all the A-League news and results, which is especially intriguing in the Mariners' massive universe as the transfer window is well and truly open. We begin with Adelaide United, and the Reds suffered defeat at Cooper Stadium to Wellington Phoenix in Friday football. The Knicks established a 3-goal lead inside 12 minutes before Tommy Jurich got one back just on the stroke of half-time, but that was all she wrote for the Reds, a 3-1 loss at home. There has been good news on the transfer front for Adelaide. Aaron Calver has now come in on loan from Western United, 25-year-old centre-back. 1 start and 7 substitute appearances for his parent club. We should see that increase at Cooper Stadium. A couple of players may be on their way out. Jordan Elsey, who's apparently only 27 years old. I could have sworn he was mid-30s. But he has been offered a contract by Brisbane and could move at the end of the season. More short-term, young Harrod Abatu could be on his way on loan, the 21-year-old fullback, to one of Heidelberg United, West Adelaide, Port Melbourne, Croydon Kings, or one of 2 other teams. The Reds have been turned down by Djibril Touré, so now 18-year-old winger has decided that the bright lights in the big city of Adelaide is not for him. He'd rather remain here in the United Kingdom with Watford. I'm not sure I agree with his decision. There are more takeover rumours being rubbished. Chairman Piet van der Pol has quashed reports of potential takeover by a local businessman for Adelaide United. We'll see if that goes anywhere in the coming weeks. Speaking of potential takeovers, a proposed bid by Lucas Hill to take control of Brisbane Roar has sensationally collapsed. That means that the transfer embargo has been lifted as a result, and that does mean that the Roar can now join in on the old transfer party. Thanks to Joey Champness, the Roar picked up a win, all 3 points, away at Western United in the second Friday football fixture of the weekend. In terms of the Central Coast Mariners ourselves, the Mariners overcame Macarthur by 3-0 in Campbelltown Stadium. You may have seen that here on YouTube on Thursday. If not, go back and watch it. Watch all my videos. Meanwhile, there is plenty of transfer news as we await firstly for a work permit for Mexican attacking midfielder Ulysses Davila from Wellington Phoenix. We've also launched a bid for Steven Ugarkovic from Newcastle Jets. So in real life, he's actually agreed a pre-contract with Western Sydney Wanderers. But over in the Mariners Massive, he is very much available. 95 cap United States international Brian McBride has now officially joined the club as a youth coach. So he brings quite a lot of experience, a lot of international caps, a lot of nous to the youth setup. Ante Milicic has been sacked by Macarthur FC. The gig is up for the former Matilda's boss. After the loss to ourselves, the Mariners, Ivan Jolic has been placed in temporary charge of first team affairs, but the favourite for the job has to be Paul Ocon, a former Central Coast Mariners boss, I believe. He is the 7-2 favourite. Paul Reed at 6-1, as is Kenny Miller, currently assistant to Carl Robinson at Western Sydney Wanderers. So it's been a pretty bad week all around for the Bulls. A bit of a shame there. They also appear to be allowing Holman to leave, Jake Holman. He could be on loan at Parramatta Eagles, Preston Lions, Macarthur Rams, Kingston City, or one of 2 other sides as well. So he could be another man on his way out. Patrick Kisnorbo, however, is hanging on to his job by a thread after a 1-1 draw with rivals Melbourne Victory. It was Royston Griffiths opening the scoring for City before Jacob Butterfield equalised for the Big V in the second half. Taras Gamulka, he has joined Newcastle Jets on loan. So young lad there, 19 years old, only arrived this season from Adelaide, but he's got another 2 years remaining on his contract. But yeah, he's spending some time with the Newcastle Jets, so perhaps we'll see some football there. Western Sydney Wanderers are in for Avondale's Brandon Lundy. Plenty of interest in that young man as well. Meanwhile, both Victory, City and indeed Western Sydney Wanderers have made offers for Lachlan Jackson, 25-year-old, real mountain of a defender, a big lad. Melbourne Victory are looking for a big overhaul this summer, as I tell you what, Elvis Kamsoba, one of our favourite players at A-League FC, could be on his way to Adelaide United. While Victory are in for Lachlan Jackson, as discussed, they also want our very own Jack Clisby. They have made an offer to him to join in the summer when his contract expires. They have secured the signature a couple of important signings of the likes of Robbie Cruz. So he signed a new 1-year deal. Meanwhile, Lee Broxham, the skipper, has done exactly the same, just extended his stay for another season to come in Victory colours. Newcastle Jets lost their 8th game of the season as they were defeated 4-3 by Western Sydney Wanderers. The goal scorers were Bernie Ibini with a hat-trick, Costa Petratos, Nigel Bogard, Roy the Boy and Patrick Ziegler. Meanwhile, Connor O'Toole has signed a fairly unprecedented 5-year deal to keep him at the club till the end of May 2026. That is quite the commitment to the 23-year-old fullback. Perth Glory have now lost 12 games this campaign after another loss, this time at the Jubilee Oval to Sydney FC, inspired as they were by Anthony Caceres, who got the only goal of the game deep into injury time. Tony Vidmore, he is looking for reinforcements, is the new Perth boss. He's offered a contract to Josh Hope, along with the likes of David Carney and Salif Kujabi, all of which will be considering a switch to Perth Glory. Daniel Lopaz's move to Sydney FC has been delayed due to a work permit, while Steve Corica, he wants to bring in a set-piece specialist in Andy Huell from Broadmeadow Magic, and has offered something like 10 grand for the former Mariners player. Former Melbourne City defender Richard Wingbickler could be wearing sky blue very shortly, as it was a late goal by Caceres that secured all 3 points for the home side at the Jubilee Oval this week. So plenty going on in the world of Sydney FC. As we mentioned before, Ulysses Davila, he was on the score sheet twice for Wellington Phoenix as they defeated Adelaide United, and of course that is good news for us as he is a work permit away from joining Central Coast Mariners. Bit of a nightmare here for Dino Julbic and indeed for the club itself. He's had quite a week. He signed for the Knicks on the 3rd and suffered a lower back stress fracture on the 8th, just 5 days later. So they've ploughed quite a bit of money in him to sign him up, and has come back absolutely crocked within the first week of him signing for the new club. Not sure that's all his fault really. Could have took him in on loan and get him training for a bit. Didn't do that, and this is the result. Western Sydney Wanderers, well, they beat Newcastle Jets in that 4-3 game that we referenced earlier, with Bernie Abini, notching a hat-trick. Wanderers have made an approach for former FC Dallas and indeed Cincinnati striker Roland Lamar. So 33 years old, very experienced, can play right across the forward line. So he could be quite an exciting addition to what is really already an exciting team under Carl Robinson. Western United, well, they lost to Brisbane Roar at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. That is a new one on me. The Eureka Stadium, is that known as something else in real life? It was Joey Champness with that goal, with less than 10 to go. Mark Redan, however, has secured the loan deal to sign Aidan Coyne until the end of the season. So he's currently with Perth Glory, while Josh Risdon has signed a new long-term contract. That'll take him to May of 2025. Supporters spokesperson revealed that fans are delighted with the news, so clearly a good player for Western United this season. The league table, that shows the Mariners top of the league now, 6 points in hand over Wellington Phoenix, who are playing really well themselves. Can't argue with that. They're keeping us honest all the way through. 33 points for Wellington, but it's that gap back, 26 for Sydney FC. That is quite a sizable difference. That's 13 points in it. That is quite a lot, isn't it? Down at the bottom of the league, Perth Glory cast adrift by some 7 points from Newcastle Jets. And then we've got the likes of MacArthur and Western Sydney Wanderers, the teams around them who did not start the season in pretty good form. But there you have it. In terms of fixtures, it's a bit of a short week in the A-League. We've got Melbourne Victory versus Western United on Friday, followed by Western Sydney Wanderers taking on Sydney FC in the Derby. That's on Sunday, and that's it, because the next game after that is a Friday again. So just 2 games to choose from. You've got the Melbourne Victory versus Western United game, always going to be exciting, and then it's followed up by the Sydney Derby. Thank you for joining me today. Join me every week on Thursday for us. We play a game in the A-League, and then on a Sunday we have the A-League rundown. I do have to tell you, as we don't have an opponent this week in the A-League, not quite sure what we're going to do, but we do have 3 home games to come as far as the Mariners are concerned. I will think of something interesting to do with our time next week on the Mariners Massive on Thursday. Be that as it may, thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again next time.